Hi there. My name is Rex, and I was going to discuss to you today, or give you my opinions. They're not fact, it's just my opinions on new car warranty, new car servicing, and some pitfalls. First off, a little bit about me. I've been in the automotive industry for over 50 years, or was in the automotive industry over 50 years. I've recently retired. I've worked on small engines right through to earth moving equipment, trucks, outboard motors. I specialised in Subarus for a lot of years. And I've just been a mechanic all those years. I've had my own business. I've worked as a service manager for dealerships. So I've got a reasonably broad range of experience in the industry. So today, as I said before, it's about new car warranty and cap price servicing and some of the pitfalls to watch out for, in my opinion. All right. First off, what voids new car warranty? And there's a number of things that can void your warranty. Modifications that affect the performance of the vehicle, or the reliability of the vehicle, and the longevity of the vehicle. Now, some of the four-wheel drives, when you buy them now, the dealers will offer you all these packages, and there's aftermarket wise, there's a whole heap of different things you can do to all sorts of vehicles. You've got to be careful about what you do and understand that as simple as putting an aftermarket bull bar can avoid the warranty on your engine because it affects the cooling system. Now, there's all sorts of tricks and traps here. If you get a bull bar fitted that is approved by the manufacturer, then you should be covered for warranty for anything related to the engine or the performance of the vehicle. I got a cheat sheet I keep referring to here. There's all sorts of modifications you can buy to a vehicle when you get it. Bigger wheels, bigger tyres, and rightfully so. If you change away from what the manufacturer's designed and specified for the vehicle, then you're putting undue load and stress on the components. Bigger wheels straight away is going to put undue load on your differentials, on your gearbox, transmissions. It's going to make your engine work outside of its normal rev range for power and torque. So there's all those things to consider. Now, whether the dealership will cover it because of the larger wheels or not, that's the dealership rather, the manufacturer, if they cover it, that's entirely up to them. There's always the element of did it really cause the problem? If they say they believe that it contributed towards it, then really it's up to you to prove otherwise. And that can open up a whole minefield of problems you don't need or don't want. Alright, now when you buy a vehicle, sometimes it comes as a cab chassis or it comes with a tub on it. You change it, you change it to a tray, the wiring gets changed, different things get changed, and it's done, even if it's done before you pick it up, it's what you've got to worry about being with a third party. So, for an example, if you have a vehicle purchased and you change it from a tray to a tub and they change the wiring and the filler neck for the fuel and all those things that need to be changed when you make those alterations, and it's done by a third party even before you pick the vehicle up, if there's an issue and it becomes a warranty problem, you can't expect the manufacturer to warrant what was done by a third party. So if a dealership sends the vehicle out to a engineer shop to get them to make the tray or to make alterations or change the wiring, then it's on them and not the actual manufacturer. And then you could fall into a pitfall where one blames the other. The manufacturer blames the third-party operator. The third-party operator says, no, it wasn't us, it blames the manufacturer. And then it gets very untidy. So I'm not suggesting you should do one thing or another. I'm just preparing you that there are problems in that area, and it can get a little bit messy to deal with. Other things that can void your warranty is the way you treat the vehicle, the way you drive the vehicle. And there's, without being a lawyer or anything, there's a whole heap of pitfalls there. So if you break down somewhere and you know you've got a breakdown and you limp it to get somewhere else, then anything that occurs after the initial breakdown could be on you and not the manufacturer. Once you know you've got a problem, then you've got to rectify it as quickly as possible. So if you have a problem and then, for example, it goes into limp mode and then you run around in the vehicle for a month with it on limp mode, yeah, you might have troubles with your warranty if anything else is wrong with it. So there's things to consider in that area. If you buy a new vehicle, grab your manual that comes with the vehicle and read through it. It's a pain, and it's double Dutch, and it's so long, but there's a lot of information in there, and really it's up to you as the new car owner to make sure you understand as much as you can. If you trash the vehicle, well, obviously, yeah, it's not going to be covered by warranty. If you have an accident in the vehicle, then any of those components that were damaged in the accident will not be covered by warranty. Even if you've had it repaired, if you crash the vehicle, your suspension may not be covered after that, especially if it's not completely repaired with new components. And also, a lot of the time there's a different warranty on spare parts compared to the new vehicle. For instance, you might buy a vehicle that's got a 3-year warranty. You change a part on that vehicle, that part may only have a 12-month warranty. Now, when it comes to warranty, I know there's a thing called the Australian Consumer Guarantee Act, which is really good, but the reality of it is, if you want to go to court and take a company to court over the Australian Consumer Guarantee, it could be a hell of a fight. A lot of the manufacturers, and they've got a bag of lawyers just sitting there waiting for this. And if you wish to take a company to court over the Consumer Guarantee Act, sometimes it's up to you to prove what you're saying or to provide the evidence, so you may need professional witnesses. Professional witnesses are people that are expert in that field, and I don't think they come very cheap. But I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice. It's something you should consider and investigate for yourself. So sometimes it might be worth your while to negotiate with items that come up and you want to use the Australian Consumer Guarantee Act. Now, another section I want to go on with is cap price servicing. And boy, is there some pitfalls in this one. I'm not saying that cap price servicing or fixed price servicing is a good or a bad thing, but there are things to be aware of. With most of the cap price servicing, they cover the consumables for that service only and the labour. Now, in a lot of the, once again, if you've got your handbook that came with the vehicle and you read the service and you read the wording in the service. For instance, and this one I've seen the invoice for myself for this one. A customer takes a vehicle in for a cap price service. The indicator globe is broken and it's not working. Now, in the service, booklet it says check, to check all the lights. Now, a checker is to visually check it. They check it. Yes, it's not working. That's the end of the service agreement. To repair it will be at your cost. So I've seen an example on an invoice where for a light globe, the price for the light globe was approximately $60, and they had charged nearly an hour's labour, which I think at the time was about $120 to replace it. So it was a $180 bill just to replace one light globe, and that's not part of your cap price servicing, not normally. So when you actually have a look at your the book that came with the vehicle, and you look through the service directory and see what's involved in service, there's a lot of things where it says to check these things. To check it is part of the service. To repair it is a repair and not part of the service. Some of those items like wiper blades, and I've seen some pretty hefty bill for wiper blades. Any wear and tear parts like brakes, tyres, that sort of thing, they're all they're not part of the service. They're things that may need repair or replacement, but they're not part of the service. To check them is, but to actually fix them isn't. And it gets so technical, you've got to look at things like valve clearances. Now, you would think a valve clearance, if it says to check the valve clearance and they need adjusting, you would think that would be part of the service. Now, even to check valve clearances, quite a few manuals I've seen where it says to audibly check them. So to have a listen to the engine while it's running and see if it needs valve clearances. In other words, if the valves are rattling, then yes, it may need to be readjusted. If the valves or if the engine's got a slight miss to it at idle, it might be the valves are too tight. But to actually go in there and adjust the valves may not be part of the actual service. And some valve adjustments can be horrendously expensive because you've got to pull the rocker covers off with new rocker cover gaskets. Some of them have injector ports through there, so to some of the diesels you may need new injector rubbers and everything else like that, and it becomes quite expensive to do a valve clearance, which may or may not be covered and depends on the wording and how they interpret the wording. Just talking about servicing your vehicle, one thing I'd like to touch on before we finish up is, once again, have a look in your owner's manual and check the type of oil or the grade of oil that's used in your vehicle. A lot of vehicles now, when they're new, go for a very light oil. And the benefits of the light oil is, of course, less friction to move it, less viscosity. So you have slightly better fuel economy and you keep your emissions down. Now, that's fine if you're doing what they call light work. So if you're just running down to the shop on the weekend and not much more, and you're not doing any what they call arduous work or heavy duty work, then that oil's probably fine. But in your owner's manual, you'll probably turn around and see that they've got for severe conditions. And sometimes I'll tell you what a severe condition is. A severe condition can be towing. Severe conditions can be temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius, ambient temperature. Severe conditions can be stop-start traffic. So that sometimes what you consider normal driving might be severe conditions. And severe conditions, they may up the grade of the oil from, say, a 0W20 to anything up to a 10W40 or even a 20W50 I've seen in some cases. Not so much these days. But yeah, it's something to consider, especially if you're going to tow or if you're going to travel in hot areas. And the amount of fuel efficiency you lose on startup for having a heavier grade oil, it's not very much. So it's something really to consider. Just to cap off again, these are just my opinions. anything I say legally, I'm not a lawyer. It's not legal advice. It's just my opinions, and I'm only trying to give you some things to think about and things to consider. If you've got any specific questions that you think my opinion might help you with, feel free to write it in the comments. I will answer them to the best of my ability. And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. If I'm fairly confident with the answer, I'll give it to you. So if I can be of help, yell out. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, best of luck, especially if you purchased a new vehicle, and especially if you anything like me recently, where I purchased a truck, which was on my previous video, which I still haven't got back yet. Had it for 10 days, had a problem with it, and then we had to work out whether it was the manufacturer's problem or the people that built the tray for it, or the people that put the tow bar on. We don't know. We still don't even know what the cause of the problem was for the wiring. But yeah, I'm still waiting. They've had it longer than I have. That just happens. There's no fault to the people that are working on. I'm really happy with them. I'm really happy with the way everything's turned out. But yes, it's certainly something to consider. And if you've got questions about your warranty and that sort of thing, most of the dealerships have a phone number in the beginning of their owner's book manual, customer service. I would ring up and make inquiries, ask the question, and if you're still not happy with the response, send them an email, get it in writing. Yeah, but most people 90% of the time don't have problems. 90% of the time most dealerships are helpful. 90% of the time most manufacturers are helpful, but there is that other 10%, so just hope you don't fall into that category. Alright, well, that's it for now. All the best, and I hope you have good motoring. Bye for now.